You think money makes you better than me." Maria's voice cut through the marble hallway like glass. Her hands trembled, but her eyes blazed with 3 years of swallowed words. Richard Thornton froze, his hand on the banister. In 58 years, no one had ever spoken to him like that, especially not the help. "Excuse me." "You heard me." Maria clutched her resignation letter, ready to walk away with whatever dignity she had left. But this story doesn't start with courage. It starts 3 years earlier with desperation and hope. 3 years earlier. Maria Rodriguez stood outside 432 Park Avenue, staring up at the gleaming tower. 96 floors. She'd work at the very top. Her daughter Sophia had texted, "Good luck, Mama, you've got this." Sophia was 14, dreaming of college. Maria would scrub 1,000 floors to make those dreams real. The agency had warned her, "Richard Thornton is particular, but the pay is triple your rate. Can you handle it?" Maria nodded. She could handle anything. The private elevator opened directly into the penthouse. 12,000 square feet of pure luxury, Italian marble, floor-to-ceiling windows, museum-quality art. And Richard Thornton, reading his newspaper without looking up. "You're late. Your shift starts at 6 a.m. It's 6:03. The elevator had taken 3 minutes. "I apologize, Mr. Thornton. The help uses the service elevator. I expect invisibility. I shouldn't see you, hear you, or smell whatever cheap perfume you're wearing." He turned a page. "My routine is on the counter. Memorize it. Don't think. Don't improvise. And the last housekeeper lasted 6 weeks. Try to beat that." Maria cleaned for 11 hours that first day. When she left, Richard didn't say goodbye, didn't acknowledge her existence. On the subway home, Maria thought of Sophia's text, "You've got this." She'd make it work. She had to. Weeks became months. Months became years. Maria learned Richard's schedule perfectly. 6 a.m. arrival, 6:30 his workout, 7:45 breakfast, egg whites, black coffee, 2 ice cubes, 8:30 he'd leave. She had 4 hours to make everything perfect. But perfect had different definitions. "These floors are streaked. Do them again." Maria saw no streaks, but she nodded. "Yes, Mr. Thornton." "The painting is tilted 3 degrees. How did you not notice?" She'd used a level that morning. "My apologies, Mr. Thornton." He never said thank you, never please, never learned her name, just called her the help. At night back in their Queens apartment, Sophia would ask, "Mama, why don't you quit? He treats you like nothing." Maria dried her hands carefully. "Nothing is just a word, Mija. I know who I am. His words can't change that. I'm your mama. I'm Maria Elena Rodriguez. That's who I am." But alone, Maria wondered how many times she could swallow her dignity. In 3 years of invisibility, Maria had become an expert observer. Richard Thornton was utterly alone. His phone rang constantly, all business. His mother called twice a year, Christmas and birthdays, 5-minute conversations. His sister called once a year, crying about money. He'd transfer funds without emotion. No friends visited. The penthouse had 5 bedrooms. He used one, the others collected dust. Once, Maria found a photograph face down in his nightstand drawer. A younger Richard with a beautiful woman, both laughing on a beach. She'd never seen evidence of that happiness again. Another time, she found an unopened birthday card in the trash, from someone named Catherine. "Dear Dad," it started. The penthouse was a mausoleum of expensive things and dead relationships. Richard had built an empire, but what had he sacrificed to build it? 2 years and 11 months in, Richard hosted a dinner party. 8 wealthy men, cigars and scotch. Maria was serving when one guest noticed her. "Richard, still can't find quality help. This one looks like she might steal the silverware." The table erupted in laughter. Richard didn't even look at her. "She's adequate, barely, but she knows to keep her mouth shut." More laughter. Maria set down her tray with shaking hands. She finished serving. She cleaned up. At midnight, she walked to the subway crying. That night, she wrote her resignation letter. Sophia found her at 2 a.m. Mama, I'm quitting tomorrow, Mija. Because of him. Because I've forgotten who I am. Sophia took her mother's hand. Mama, you're the strongest person I know. You've never been small, but if you need to leave, we'll figure it out. I'll give 2 weeks' notice, professional, dignified. But fate had different plans. Maria's resignation letter was in her purse when she arrived that Tuesday. She'd rehearsed, Mr. Thornton, I'm giving my 2 weeks' notice. But something felt wrong. The gym door was open. That never happened during workouts. Mr. Thornton. No answer. She found him collapsed in the hallway, face gray, clutching his chest, gasping for air. Mr. Thornton, Maria dropped beside him, checking his pulse, weak, racing. She dialed 911. Heart attack, 432 Park Avenue, penthouse 96, male 58, barely conscious, pulse weak and rapid. Richard's hand gripped her wrist desperately. His eyes, those cold eyes that had looked through her for 3 years, were terrified. Don't talk, Maria said firmly. Help is coming, you're going to be okay. She found his aspirin, gave it to him, held his hand through 4 endless minutes until paramedics arrived. Ma'am, are you family? The paramedic asked. I work for him. Is there family to call? Maria tried his assistant Jessica. Voicemail, his mother, no answer, his sister, no answer, Catherine, no answer. Ma'am, you don't have to ride with us. Maria looked at Richard. Tubes, wires, oxygen mask, terrified eyes. No one was coming. I'm staying, she said. In the ambulance, Maria kept trying to reach someone. Anyone. But Richard Thornton, billionaire, master of the universe, had no one. Except the woman whose name he'd never learned. Mount Sinai Hospital. Maria called Sophia. Mija, I have to stay, his family. There's no one else. That's so sad, Mama, but it makes sense you stayed. You have the biggest heart, I'm proud of you. Jessica finally called back hours later. Maria, I'm in Tokyo. I can't get back until Thursday. What about his family? No one's answering. Jessica paused. Maria, Richard doesn't have a relationship with his family. They're estranged. His daughter Catherine, they haven't spoken in 12 years, not since her wedding. He sent the gift back. So there's no one. There's no one. Could you possibly stay until I return? You'll be compensated. Maria thought about the photograph, the unopened card, the empty bedrooms. I'll stay. The surgery took 6 hours, double bypass. The doctor said Richard had ignored symptoms for months. Too busy, too important. At 10 p.m. they let Maria see him. He looked so small in that hospital bed, all power stripped away. She sat beside him. She should go home. But she stayed. Around 3 a.m. his eyes opened, confused, then focusing on her. His lips moved. Why? Maria looked at this man who'd made her invisible for 3 years. This man with everything the world valued and nothing that mattered. Because being broke never made me cruel, Mr. Thornton, and being rich shouldn't have made you forget you're human. Richard cried, real, body-shaking sobs, years of loneliness pouring out while Maria held his hand. When the sobs subsided, Richard whispered, I don't even know your name. Maria, my name is Maria Elena Rodriguez. Maria, he repeated, learning to speak for the first time. Stay, please. So she did. Richard spent 2 weeks in the hospital. Jessica returned, but Richard asked for Maria. Please, if she's willing, I need her here. Maria visited daily, talking about Sophia, about their small apartment where love kept them warm. She wants to study engineering, gets it from her father. He died when she was 2. I'm sorry. The first time Richard had said those words to her. It was hard, but Sophia gave me a reason to keep going, someone who mattered more than my ego. Richard was quiet. Then, I had a daughter once. Catherine. You know about her. I found a birthday card in your trash, unopened. Shame crossed his face. I haven't spoken to her in 12 years. She married a teacher. I told her she was throwing her life away. She left and never came back. Sent cards every year. I threw them away without reading them. Why? Because I was proud, because I'm a fool. Maria took his hand. It's not too late. That night, Richard called his daughter. Richard was home. Everything had changed. The first morning, Maria arrived through the main elevator. Richard waited with 2 coffees. I thought we could have breakfast together, if you'd like. They sat at the huge dining table, just 2 of them. I called Catherine yesterday. She hung up. That's progress, she answered. Keep calling. Over weeks, a new routine developed. Morning coffee. Richard asking about Sophia's college acceptances. Maria asking about his calls to Catherine, still hanging up but listening longer. One afternoon, Maria found him adjusting a painting with a level. 3 degrees, he said with a self-deprecating smile. What was I thinking? You were thinking perfection mattered more than people. I was wrong. He pulled out an envelope. This is for you, 3 years of back pay, for respect you should have received, for teaching me something no business school could. The check made Maria gasp. I can't. You can. There's also a college fund for Sophia, full ride any school. Richard, this is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough. You saved my life, Maria, not just in the ambulance. You saved me from the person I'd become. His eyes were wet. You taught me that the view from the top means nothing if there's no one to share it with. On a Sunday afternoon, Richard's phone rang. It's Catherine. Answer it, Maria urged. Catherine. Hi, Dad. Richard's voice broke. Thank you for calling. I listened to your voicemails. You really had a heart attack. Double bypass, almost died. That's terrifying. It was, but it taught me I've been a terrible father, that I threw away the most important relationship in my life because I was too proud. Silence. Then, I have 2 kids now, your grandchildren. Emma is 9, Jack is 7. Richard closed his eyes. I'd like to meet them, if you can ever forgive me. I don't know if I can forgive you yet, Dad, but I'm willing to try. Maybe coffee first, just us. I'd like that more than anything. After hanging up, Richard hugged Maria, a real, genuine hug. She called. It's a start. Thank you for seeing me as human when I'd forgotten how to be one. The penthouse was transformed, not sterile anymore, lived in. Photos on the mantel, Richard with Catherine's children, Richard and Maria having coffee, Richard at a charity gala for domestic workers' rights. Maria's company, Rodriguez and Associates, had 20 employees. She still cleaned Richard's penthouse weekly, not because she had to, because they were friends. On the anniversary of the heart attack, they cooked together, Maria teaching him her mother's recipe. A year ago I thought I had everything, Richard said. The money, the success. I thought I was at the top. And now I realize I had nothing. I'd built a marble prison. This place was beautiful but empty. I was empty. And now, Richard looked at the photos, the lived-in kitchen, the woman who taught him what mattered. Now I'm rich in ways that actually matter. I have a daughter speaking to me, grandchildren, friends, and I have you, Maria, my teacher, my friend, the woman who saved my life and taught me how to live it. Maria raised her glass. To second chances. To second chances. And to you, Maria Elena Rodriguez, the bravest, kindest, strongest person I know. Outside, Manhattan glittered, but inside, no longer empty, no longer cold, the warmth came from something money couldn't buy. Humanity, dignity, respect. and 2 syllables that changed everything. Maria. Sophia graduated from MIT with honors. Richard and Maria sat in the audience, crying proud tears. Catherine's third child was named Maria, after the woman who'd brought her grandfather back to life. Richard sold his hedge fund and started a foundation for domestic workers, with Maria as co-director. And every morning, they still had coffee together. 2 friends who'd learned that being human means treating others as human. That dignity isn't given, it's recognized. That wealth means nothing without humanity. And that sometimes, the people we dismiss as the help are actually the ones helping us find our way home. The measure of a life is not in what you accumulate, but in what you give. Not in how high you climb, but in how many you lift on the way up. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our inspiring stories. Follow for more life-changing tales that remind us what truly matters. Drop a comment below telling us what lesson you took from Maria and Richard's story. See you in the next one.